Hello, I am a Father's Crisis. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Please like and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about an issue that seems to be happening a lot more lately. And some of them even made national news. So we're going to talk about this, and that is fathers being killed during their custody exchanges. So buckle up. That's our conversation for today, and what you should do if you find yourself having to do custody exchanges, what you need to do as a father to protect yourself. Here we go.
There is no denying that there are many human rights issues that uniquely or disproportionately affect men.
In this country, fathers are not second-class citizens. I know there are a lot of people out there, including judges and probation officers, who still don't get that message, but fathers are not second-class citizens. Sometimes they're actually better parents.
When men are married to women who scream like you, they just want to die sooner.
So, like it says in the thumbnail and my introduction, we are going to be talking about fathers who are murdered during their custody exchanges. And there's always a conversation about how women are not violent, and that men do most of the abusing, that men are violent. If you actually look at the numbers, like the National Institutions of Health, you'll actually see that women actually commit more domestic violence than men. That being said, men do tend to do more damage and physically hurt women way more. But the issue still stands. Women can be violent. And one way that really shifts blame from the woman is how women commit violence by proxy. They will use a male relative or the new boyfriend or new husband to do their own dirty work. And this is no more prevalent than in custody exchanges, where you have fathers picking up their kids and an altercation coming down because the baby mama comes and brings the new boyfriend or the new husband into the mix. And you have what we have here, where fathers are being essentially executed simply for being fathers to children with their new girlfriend. This just happened a couple days ago. One killed, one other injured in shooting over child custody exchange. This happened in Alabama. The incident happened approximately at 1:10 p.m. on a Sunday, which is kind of the normal custody exchange day for weekend visits. You give the kid back on a Sunday. 4 people were involved in an argument over a child custody exchange. And luckily, in this specific incident, the children were not harmed. 2 people were shot and taken to a hospital. 29-year-old Christopher Lamar Tanks, who was the father, died. The other victim is in critical condition. So, not a lot there in this news story, and there's been no updates. I have checked. And, yeah, so you have 2 people shooting at each other during a custody exchange. And this is, like I said, is happening more and more. How about this? 2 are arrested in connection to fatal Liberty, PA shooting. And if you look at this, a man and a woman, the mother and her new boyfriend, shoots and kills the father of her children. And we go here. This happened in Allentown, PA. Man gets 45 to 100 years in custody exchange slangs. Again, this man, the new boyfriend of the mother, shoots and kills not only the father, but the father's new girlfriend. And how about this story? This story happened last year. This one made national news. The Texas man seen shooting his partner's ex amid custody dispute claimed self-defense. And this is the Chad Reed situation. This one is particularly bad because there was a lot going on here, and normally with these kind of stories, you don't have the backstory to it a lot. You just hear, oh, people shot during the custody exchange, and they just leave it like that. But for those of you who might know the Chad Reed story, and for those who don't, I'll kind of go through that. But what happened was Chad Reed, the father of these kids, was being denied his court-ordered custody time. Now, this is a felony, technically. But it's so hard to get police involvement during a custody exchange where you're being refused your access, even though it's court-ordered. It doesn't matter because cops will usually show up and say, this is a civil matter. You need to go through all these hoops and steps. You have to go to you have to go to court. You have to file a complaint of contempt. And then that contempt order might not be heard for 2 or 3 months, depending on where you are. And even then, what's going to be their punishment? Oh, they didn't let you see the kid that day? Oh, don't ever do that again. And so this kind of cycle repeats and repeats and repeats. And eventually some fathers just give up because they're not getting any justice. Even though technically this is felony. This is you cannot do this. In Texas, this is basically kidnapping. It's you're disrupting parental involvement, and that's a felony. That's a felony in Texas. But the new boyfriend, and there's a lot of politics before the new boyfriend who shot and killed Chad Reed, his ex-wife is a judge. So all these prosecutors had to recuse themselves because they knew who this guy was, and therefore couldn't prosecute because, well, we know the guy. We can't possibly go ahead and, effectively prosecute this man. So he claimed self-defense because Chad Reed was being denied his custody time. Chad Reed then went to where he thought his child was, which was at this guy's residence / business. It was a house that he operates his business out of. So he goes there and is told to leave, and then ends up getting in almost a physical altercation with this guy. He then goes into the house, gets out a gun, says he's going to shoot the guy, shoots a warning shot in the ground, and then shoots Chad Reed. All while they're arguing. And there's videotape of it. You guys can go look at the videotape. I probably can't show it on YouTube. So he was able to claim self-defense. The thing is, you cannot claim self-defense while committing a felony, which they speaking, that's what they were doing by denying his access to his children that was court-ordered. They were both the mother and the new boyfriend was committing a felony. And it's hard not to believe that they collaborated to create this situation, this hostile situation, so that the result of him being shot and killed was the girl. To me, that's clear, but obviously we all know that the guy who shot Chad Reed ended up not being charged with anything, claiming self-defense. And that was a big story. And here's another story. Stepfather arrested after shooting at vehicle during custody exchange. Another stepdad shooting at a vehicle during custody exchange. This happened in May of this year. And all these other stories, except for the Chad Reed story, all happened this year. And this is the one I really want to talk about. Winchester man arrested for allegedly killing ex-son-in-law in Lewiston parking lot. Here's a better article that a more up-to-date one. Whoop. So based on his own admissions to police after the February shooting death of his former son-in-law in the parking lot of a Lewiston supermarket, James R. Brashear was ordered by a judge Wednesday to stand trial on a single charge of first-degree murder. Brashear, a 67-year-old Winchester resident, allegedly shot John A. Mast multiple times around 6 p.m. February 5th in front of a Rouser's store on Thane Road. According to court documents and the testimony of Lewiston Police Department, Detective Tyler Crane, a preliminary hearing Wednesday, Brashear said he killed Mast to prevent an unsupervised visit between Mast and the two children Mast had with his daughter, Rebecca Brashear Mast. Quote, he told me that he had gone to Rouser's and that he had shot John Mast, his ex-son-in-law, multiple times in the parking lot. Crane said of the interview he conducted with Brashear immediately after the incident. Mast, 40 of North Dakota, and Brashear Mast had been fighting over custody of the children for several years after the divorce, according to court documents, with Brashear Mast claiming that her former husband had sexually abused the kids. No charges were ever filed against Mast, and advocates for his side have claimed that Brashear Mast fabricated the allegations to deny him visitation. This was a 4-year court battle, and John Mast was pretty well known in the father's rights community because he had police do investigations. He had psychologists evaluating him and the kids. Nothing turned up. There was no evidence. Zero criminal evidence, zero mental evidence from psychologists that these kids were being abused in any way. And still it took this guy 4 years to finally get unsupervised visits. And this was supposed to be his first one. Under questioning from Deputy Nez Perez, County Prosecutor April Smith, Crane described the interview in detail. He brought Brashear a bottle of water and read him the Miranda warning, advising him of his rights to remain silent, Crane said. But Brashear agreed to tell him what happened that day. So, I mean, this is an open and shut case. I mean, this guy basically said, this was my plan. He allegedly told Crane that after having breakfast with his daughter and grandchildren, she got a call from her attorney around noon informing her that Mast had been granted an unsupervised visit, which was to last from 6 p.m. Friday until 6 p.m. Sunday. The family then took steps to stop the visit, including an appeal to the state's local child protection office and applying for a temporary protection order from the district court. This is standard. When fathers actually then end up trying to get and are granted rights, they go through this whole process all over again because normally it works. In this instance, unfortunately for Mast, it didn't work because I think he'd rather be alive than what happened. But both efforts failed, with child protection officials categorizing the request at a lower priority and the court setting a hearing later the next week. He didn't think that would stop the visitation, Crane said, of what Brashear told him during that interview. Then, as Brashear Mast was packing the children's bags at her apartment in preparation for the visit, Brashear told Crane that he heard them throwing fits over going to stay with their father. Well, because they don't know their father. Because for 4 years he's been having to try to see his kids and going through all these hoops. And that's sad because the kids didn't really know this man, their own father, because the ex-wife was bitter. Then when he allegedly decided he was going to kill Mast, Crane testified. Brashear also told Crane that he promised his daughter they wouldn't ever have to see Mast again. Why isn't the mother now being prosecuted? She knew damn well what was going to happen. Brashear then said he retrieved his 9mm Glock handgun from the center console of his wife's vehicle, which he had driven to Lewiston from Winchester earlier in the day. He laid the gun on the passenger seat of his daughter's Chevy Suburban and drove to the supermarket where the exchange of children was to take place. So he took his daughter's vehicle to kill this man. How does the daughter not know what's going to happen? I mean, the kids weren't there. She wasn't there. She was supposed to be there to drop the kids off, but for some reason the kids weren't there. And neither was the ex-wife. Weird, isn't it? Upon arrival, he waited for Mass to appear. Crane said of Brashear's statements, Brashear thought he recognized Mass' vehicle and approached him with the gun hidden behind his back as he rearranged child car seats in the rear of his vehicle, Crane said. Brashear said something like, "Hi, John," or "Hey, John," to get his attention. When Mass stepped out, he shot him in the chest, Crane said, noting that Brashear estimated the distance at about 4 feet. Mass ran away, and the Brashear said he fired 3 or 4 more times into his back. Very courageous. He then removed the magazine from the pistol and the round from the chamber and laid the items on the hood of the Suburban as he waited for police to arrive. Crane said Brashear was matter-of-fact when describing the incident and showed no emotion or remorse. The only time Brashear grew emotional, he said, was when he talked about his wife finding out about what he had allegedly done. Defense attorney questioned Crane about his depiction of Brashear as indifferent. Crane did eventually concede that Brashear was clearly frustrated over the family's failure to stop the visitation. Crane was the only witness to testify at the hearing. At its conclusion, 2nd District Magistrate Judge Karen Subert ruled that the prosecution had proved that it was more likely than not that Brashear had committed first-degree murder and ordered his arraignment in district court before Judge Jeff Broody at 9 a.m. next Wednesday. If convicted of first-degree murder, Brashear faces a maximum penalties of death or life imprisonment. So, clearly an open shut case. I mean, the guy did admit that he did it, admitted that he pre-planned it, and even in this short description, you know damn well that the mother of these children knew what her father was going to do. Clear as day, and didn't do anything to stop it. This is what I mean when women commit violence by proxy. She was lying to her own father about what her ex has done to her kids, lied to police, lied to psychologists when everything was proven that he didn't do these things. But none of that matters, because a father's usually always going to stand up for his daughter or believe his daughter when she says things like this. I mean, I get that. I mean, I kind of get that. But now she ruined her father's rest of his life. He's not going to see his grandchildren again. And these children are going to grow up without a father, or now a grandfather. Their grandfather murdered in cold blood their father. These kids are going to be messed up, man. They're going to be messed up. But here we are. And it keeps happening. All you have to do is I just Googled these, shooting at custody exchange, and it's usually always the father getting shot, the father of the kids getting shot, because women commit violence by proxy. And if you find then the other stories you'll see is when the fathers, unfortunately, go crazy and they shoot their exes or their baby mamas, but it's always the man doing it. Where women do it by proxy, they get their new boyfriend, or in this situation, a male family member, to commit the violence for them. So what does this mean for you as a man? If you're going through a custody battle, what does this mean for you? You need to make sure, do whatever you can in your custody order, say that custody exchanges shall only be done by the biological mother and the biological father. Period. Ever. That no one else is to come in those exchanges. And she might complain that, oh, well, I'm afraid of him. Okay, then meet at a police station. Period. Meet at the police station. Meet at the local police station. That's how you fix that. But that's what you need. You need to demand that your lawyer put that in, or demand or ask the judge for that. Because that's not an unreasonable request. Especially when this stuff keeps happening. So no boyfriends, no girlfriends, and I suggest don't ever bring your own girlfriend or wife or new wife to these exchanges, because it's just going to raise conflict. Now, there are some situations like I don't mind seeing my ex-wife's new husband when I do my custody exchanges, because we've talked. Things are way more civil now, and my ex-wife lives there, so it's like kind of hard not to do custody exchanges there. And that's just fun. But that's months in a year of making sure that our relationship has gone to that point. But that was a verbal agreement that this was okay. Before that, no, it was just us. And if things get better, then verbally say, oh, it's okay. Like if things are okay, then go ahead and verbally do it. But don't ever change your custody agreement. Because she might then get a new boyfriend who isn't very nice. She might get a new husband who's very confrontational. And you don't want that. You don't want any more drama than there already is. So that's my advice to you men. Get it in writing, get it in your custody agreement that nobody other than the biological mom and the biological father do the exchanges. No boyfriends, no girlfriends, no new husbands, no new wives. No, just you two, and that's it. Then if things are better and things are civil later on, then verbally agree to like, okay, I don't mind if he comes. I don't mind if she comes. But only then. And only do it verbally. Don't ever change your agreement, because life changes. People get new boyfriends, people get new girlfriends. And you want to avoid this. And then in every single one of these cases, it's someone else who has nothing to do with the custody exchange doing the violence. So to just make sure it doesn't happen. It's that simple. Don't bring them. So that's my advice for you. To prevent this stuff. I mean, this is tragic. All because people can't find a way to get along after divorce or separation when kids are involved. And none of these kids are going to grow up normal. All these kids are going to have trauma they're going to have to deal with for the rest of their lives because mommy's new boyfriend killed my dad. Or shot at my dad. What a waste. What a waste. I could have brought 20 more stories like this. It's really sad that we live in this kind of society now where hold on. It's sad that we live in this type of society where just life is not valued whatsoever, especially fathers, and we get we end up putting ourselves in these types of situations where it's just not good for the children, and who's losing out? The children mostly, because their fathers are being shot. The mothers aren't really choosing wise men even after this guy, after their ex, choosing men who have no problem doing violence against the biological father. It's crazy. But you need to protect yourself and just make sure that your custody exchanges are just between you two, because that's drama enough, believe me. So thanks for coming to my channel. Please like and subscribe. Whether you're on YouTube or on Rumble, please subscribe, please comment, try to get the algorithms up. I'm trying to build these channels up so I can keep doing these, because if I keep doing these and no one's watching them, I'll probably just phase myself out. I had so many followers. I had over 50,000 followers on TikTok. and TikTok just bans me all the time. And I just can't. As soon as I get up to over 10,000, I'm banned again. So, and that's what I'm afraid what YouTube will do soon. So, I'd rather you guys join me on Rumble. I'm trying to grow that channel, but subscribe both places, and definitely check out Rumble. Rumble's a little rough right now. I hope it stays, because everybody who's getting banned, like Andrew Tate, Alex Jones, all these other guys, they have to go on there. And I know pretty soon that I'm probably going to have to go there as well. And especially when you talk about manosphere stuff, or where I talk about men's rights and fathers' rights, those tend to be the ones that get banned off these types of platforms. So please check me out on Rumble, like and subscribe. Thank you, and we'll talk to you all real soon.
Groovy.